The African savannah, vast, golden, and alive with secrets. Suddenly, the silence shatters. A roar cuts through the air, so powerful it shakes the ground. Dust swirls, and then a lion collapses, his golden mane, once blazing like a crown, now soaked in blood. His chest rises and falls with painful effort. Each breath could be his last. Overhead, vultures circle, waiting. In the distance, hyenas laugh, sensing weakness. It seems the king of the savannah has met his end. But what happens next will shock the wild. This is not just the story of a fall. This is the story of survival, of pain, of an epic battle, and a comeback so unbelievable it defies nature itself. It started with a challenge. For lions, battles aren't optional, they're destiny. Territory means food, water, survival, and most importantly, it means power. A pride cannot serve two kings. Our lion, a seasoned ruler with a mane as heavy as his scars, faced a challenger. Younger, faster, hungry. His muscles rippled with the arrogance of youth. His eyes burned with ambition. When their roars clashed, the entire savannah froze. Antelopes raised their heads. Zebras stood still. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Everyone knew this was no ordinary fight. This was a battle for a throne. They circled each other, tails lashing like whips. Dust rose beneath their paws. Then, impact. Claws tore into fur. Teeth sank into flesh. Roars turned into thunder. They slammed into each other again and again. Two giants locked in primal fury. The fight raged for minutes that felt like hours. For every strike he gave, our lion received another. For every roar he let out, another answered, equally fierce. Then came the moment that changed everything. A slash across his shoulder, so deep the blood sprayed. A savage bite to his hind leg. His body trembled. His strength faltered. The young lion saw weakness and attacked with fury. Our lion staggered, lost balance, and collapsed. Dust exploded around him. His breath came in ragged gasps. His eyes dimmed. And then, silence. The savannah, moments ago alive with chaos, went quiet. The king had fallen. Defeated, our lion dragged himself away from the battlefield. His golden mane, once radiant, looked heavy with dust and blood. Each step left a trail of crimson on the dry earth. Alone, vulnerable, every predator in the savannah could smell his weakness. The hyenas laughed in the distance, their voices mocking his suffering. The vultures followed, circling closer each hour. Death had already written his name. For 3 days he lay hidden in tall grass. Fever burned his body. His chest rose and fell slower with each passing hour. He hadn't eaten. He hadn't moved. His wounds crawled with flies, maggots feeding on his flesh. The king of the savannah had become prey. And yet, his eyes still burned. Weak, yes. Broken, yes. But the fire was not gone. On the 4th day, hunger pulled him back from the edge. His body screamed with pain, but his spirit refused to surrender. With trembling legs, he rose. He staggered a few steps, collapsed, then pushed again. His cracked tongue led him to a muddy pool of water. He drank deeply, his reflection staring back at him. A broken king. A lion brought to his knees. But even broken kings don't bow to fate. The days that followed were brutal. He could not chase. He could not fight. But he could wait. He became a shadow in the grass, an ambusher. Instead of zebras or buffalo, he went after smaller prey. A warthog, a young gazelle, even a careless hare. Each bite gave him just enough strength to see another sunrise. But his wounds remained raw. Flies swarmed, maggots dug deeper. He licked them away, his rough tongue the only medicine he had. Nature itself tortured him, but nature also forced him to adapt. At night, he lay under the stars, his ribs visible, his body weak. Each breath carried a question. Would it be his last? But survival is stubborn, and lions are built for resilience. Day by day, his body began to heal. The wounds started to close. The limp grew lighter. His mane, once heavy with blood, began to shine again in the sunlight. He no longer hid in the shadows. He walked openly across the plains, slow but steady. His body bore the marks of defeat, but those scars told a different story. They were not signs of failure. They were symbols of survival. And then the night came. A full moon rose over the savannah. The lion stood tall, raised his head, and roared. Not the roar of weakness, not the roar of defeat, but the roar of life, of resilience, of a king who had touched death and returned stronger. The sound thundered across the plains. Hyenas froze mid-laugh. Vultures scattered into the night. His pride, hearing his voice again, crept closer, slowly, cautiously. Then one by one, they returned to him. Their king had come back, but survival brings confrontation. The young lion, the challenger who had once defeated him, stood again at the edge of the territory, his muscles still strong, his eyes still hungry. But this time, when he heard the roar, something changed. Confidence turned to fear, because he realized this was not the same lion. This was a lion who had battled death itself and survived. They locked eyes. The younger lion bristled, but he did not advance. His paws shifted, his tail lowered. And then he backed away, step by step, not defeated in battle, but defeated by respect. The scars spoke louder than any roar. The king had returned. Today, that lion still walks the plains of Africa. His body is forever marked by scars, deep slashes across his shoulder, a limp in his hind leg. But those scars are not symbols of weakness. They are medals of survival. Every step he takes is a reminder of resilience. Every roar, a reminder that kings are not defined by victories alone. They are defined by how many times they rise after falling. And his story teaches us something far greater than the wild. Victory isn't always about winning the fight. Sometimes true victory is simply refusing to surrender, even when the world has already declared you finished. And that is the shocking recovery of a lion who refused to die.